The history of Mecca. Did Mecca exist during Abraham's time? This episode and this series is based on Dr. Ammari's book, Islam in Light of History. This is Daniel Ammari from the Religion Research Institute. We have a series of questions that we got from the comments from our audience, and we would like to answer them in this series. Let's start with the question number 1. What is the name of Mecca in English? Is it Mecca, M-E-C-C-A, or is it Mecca, M-A-K-K-A-H? The name in Arabic is Mecca, written in Arabic alphabets. Mecca is the English translation. This is the name that is used by historians and archaeologists, including Muslim historians and archaeologists. It is the name that is used in academic publications. On the other hand, Mecca, M-A-K-K-A-H, is a non-academic popular English transliteration. It is an attempt to write Mecca in Arabic using Latin alphabets. We prefer to use Mecca in English and Mecca in Arabic. Our audience are welcome to write it any way they want, Mecca or Mecca or Mecca. Now we come to question number 2. Other than the books of Islamic Hadith, Sirah, and Tafsir, does the Quran teach that the city of Mecca existed during Abraham's time and it was a very significant religious center? Why do early Muslim narrators such as Ibn Ishaq portray Mecca as the center of Arabia, indwelled with famous tribes? Well, the Quran clearly states in Surah 3, verse 96, إن أول بيت وضع للناس للذي ببكة مباركا وهدى للعالمين. The English translation is the following: the first temple ever built for the people is the one in Mecca, as blessed and guidance to the worlds. Here is the interpretation. Observe the focus and the context of the Quran. The first temple that is in Mecca. In other words, the temple that is in Mecca, the city of Mecca, and it's the part of the city of Mecca, and the emphasis is not in the name of the temple Kaaba, but on the city. But the context suggests that the comparison is between Mecca and Jerusalem. Muhammad is calling the Jews and the Christians to become Muslims. Why? Because he claims Islam is more significant than their religion. Why? Because Mecca is greater and more ancient than Jerusalem, their holy city. It was built before. In other words, Mecca was built before Jerusalem. The temple of Mecca is the first temple ever built for worship. This means before the temple existed, no one worshipped Allah, according to the Quran. Therefore, many Islamic commentators, tafsir, stated that Mecca and its temple was built by Adam. And some say that at least the temple was built before creation by angels. It was not a local temple. It was the first temple built for the whole world. It was always and continued always to be the first temple, blessed and guidance for the whole world. The Quran says that the temple of Mecca was guidance and blessings for all the people of the world. This means all the people of the world knew about it and came to it. Quran insists that it was more significant than any other temple. Muslim narrators were right by saying that it was the center of Arabia, center of religion, and center of trade. The Quran takes it a step further. It says that the temple of Mecca was not just the center of Arabia, but the center of the whole world as the guidance and blessings for the whole world. For this reason, the books of Tafsir and Hadith and Sirah insisted that Mecca was already in existence before Abraham was. Few said that it was built by Abraham. Whether Abraham first built it or it was in existence, whether the temple was already in existence or not, the claim of the Quran that Mecca at least existed since 2000 BC, Abraham's time. Question: but the Quran say that Abraham built the temple of Kaaba in Mecca, not Adam or the angels. And this we see in verse 125. And this is very significant. So we read in verse 125, and when we made the temple of Mecca a resort for mankind and sanctuary, saying, take as your place of worship the place where Abraham stood to pray, And we imposed a duty upon Abraham and Ishmael, saying, purify my house for those who go around and those who meditate therein and those who bow down and prostrate themselves in worship. And when Abraham prayed, my Lord, make the city of Mecca secure and bestow upon its people fruits, such of them as believe in Allah and the last day, he answered, as for him who disbelieveth, I shall leave him in content for a while, then I shall compel him to the doom of fire, a hapless journey end. And when Abraham and Ishmael were raising the foundation of the temple of Kaaba, Abraham prayed, our Lord, accept from us this duty. Lo, thou only thou art the hearer, the knower. This text states that Mecca was already in existence, but Abraham and Ishmael built the temple of Kaaba. There is an agreement between the two surah in that Mecca was already in existence. However, there is also very clear contradiction between the two passages of the Quran. Who built the temple for Abraham? Or was it the first temple of worship that ever built? It cannot be both. That is not our problem. That's a problem of the Quran. So Tafsir tried to solve it, and they said that Abraham did not build the temple of Kaaba, but he rebuilt it. So it was built first by Adam or the angels before creation, but Abraham then later rebuilt it. Concerning whether the temple was first built by Abraham or rebuilt by Abraham later, whether Mecca was already in existence, as both surah insist, or it was first built by Abraham, the Quran insists that Mecca and Kaaba were in existence from at least Abraham's time. Question: is it true that the Quran calls Mecca with the name of Becca? The city name, Becca, is mentioned instead of Mecca. The difference is one letter. The reason for the difference is that early manuscripts of the Quran did not use diacritics, tanqid or tashkil. Therefore, it was easy to mistake the letter M in Arabic with the letter B in Arabic in handwritten documents on animal skin. So for every practical purpose, it is not Becca, it is actually Mecca. Question: doesn't the Bible talk about the valley of Becca in Psalm 84:6? Now, concerning the passage in the Bible, in Hebrew it is not Mecca or Becca, it is Habaka'ah, which means weeping. It's a word with its roots and its derivatives are used all over the Bible for weeping and for crying. It is the same word in Arabic for the meaning of weeping, buka. The valley of weeping is not a real physical valley, but a symbolic of the state of the worshipper. The psalmists say that while ascending to Jerusalem, Zion, to worship God, the weeping in the heart is transformed to joy. If it is a physical valley, then it is a valley in the vicinity of Jerusalem. But it is not a real valley, because the Bible uses metaphorical valley to state the condition of human. Mountain of joy, valley of weeping, valley of death, mountain of victory. Appealing to this verse is a symptom of lack of support for Mecca in the Bible, history, or archaeology. This is Daniel Amari from the Religion Research Institute.